When Pope Francis announced that his upcoming encyclical would focus on ecology, it immediately became one of the most talked about stories in the world. Not a word has been published, yet the encyclical has already received praise and criticism. Here are answers to some key questions about the encyclical.
What is an encyclical?
A papal encyclical is simply a letter written by a pope. It can be addressed to anyone, from bishops to the entire world. Encyclicals are primarily used as an educational tool.
Why does it matter?
Popes often communicate through written word, but the encyclical is a particularly important letter. It effectively becomes Catholic doctrine on a specific issue.
It usually represents a moment of special solemnity or of special weight, doctrinal weight. The Pope with the document in question is trying to say something. He's trying to give a very clear mark to his papacy and saying, this is what I think and this is what I want the Church to do.
How often are encyclicals published?
Encyclicals are a nearly 300-year-old tradition. The first one was published by Pope Benedict XIV in 1740. More than 300 encyclicals have been written since. Pope John Paul II released 14, which averaged to about one every other year of his papacy. Pope Benedict XVI published 3 encyclicals during his nearly 8 years as Pope. Pope Francis has already released one encyclical about faith.
What's going to be in the next encyclical?
The document's name is Laudato Si and is taken from a prayer by St. Francis of Assisi, which praises God for the diversity of creation. It translates to praised be. While the public doesn't know exactly what Pope Francis will say, it's possible to infer what some of the main themes will be based on his previous public statements. He has made both political and moral statements about ecology.
Vivere a più stretto contatto con la natura come fate voi implica non solo il rispetto di essa, ma anche l'impegno a contribuire concretamente per eliminare gli sprechi di una società che tende sempre più a scartare beni ancora utilizzabili e che si possono donare a quanti sono nel bisogno. Es lógico, no puede haber tierra, no puede haber techo, no puede haber trabajo si no tenemos paz y si destruimos el planeta. Il nostro tempo non può disattendere la questione ecologica, che è vitale per la sopravvivenza dell'uomo, nel ridurla a questione meramente politica. Essa infatti ha una dimensione morale che tocca a tutti, così che nessuno può disinteressarsene.
Why is it so controversial?
Much of the encyclical's expected content is not very controversial. It's generally agreed upon that respecting nature and taking care of the planet is a good thing. But the document has become a lightning rod for political debate because Pope Francis is expected to take an official stance on climate change and encourage governments to act. Cardinal Peter Turkson helped Pope Francis draft the document. He weighed in on the controversy at a recent press conference.
Some critics have said, and one mail I got was reminding us that we went to, seminar to learn to save souls, and not to get into it. The issue is being about how well people are convinced about the scientific data that says that the climate is changing. That is where the argument, that's where the fight is.
Is the Pope's focus on the ecology groundbreaking?
Yes and no. Of the hundreds of encyclicals, none have ever focused exclusively on ecology. However, the 2 popes who came before Pope Francis have made similar arguments about the environment broadly and climate change specifically. More than 25 years ago, Pope John Paul II said that the depletion of the ozone layer had reached, quote, crisis proportions. Pope Benedict XVI was known as the Green Pope, and his Pontifical Academy of Sciences formally urged governments to cut carbon dioxide emissions.
Will this change anything?
The encyclical's release was intentionally planned to come ahead of a major international climate conference later this year.
I would say it'll influence a good bit. Now, people have their own agenda and they have their own ideas. I would say it will have an influence, and I think the fact of the encyclical has been provoking a lot of debate in different parts of the world, at a secular level and also in the Catholic Church itself.
After all the analysis, debate, and conversation, The encyclical will eventually speak for itself. It will be published June 18th.